All right, everyone. So here we are again in session 4 of video editing for drone pilots. And this is, of course, the beginner's version. So in the last couple of video sessions that we've done 3. We actually set up our Final Cut Pro library. We got some content into Final Cut Pro, and we've played around with editing things in the timeline. So this is all great, and we're moving along nice and quickly. And as you can see, we still are using the same project, and I've got that iPhone up there right now. By the way, just so you know, we're going to start playing with more of the timeline editing and a little bit of audio as well in this particular session. But one thing I wanted to show you. So we've got that iPhone left up there from the previous lesson. If I click on that, so I've just highlighted that title, the center slide for the iPhone. If I hit the V key, that's Victor, what happens? So it actually hides things for us, which is awesome. So if we need to, see how something is affecting the rest of our video, we can very easily. And then I hit the V key again to bring it back. We can do this with the main timeline too. So we could put the V key right here. Maybe we wanted to keep this, but maybe we wanted to put something over it. So that is the next thing that we're going to take a look at here. I'm going to shrink this panel area here for us. And I just want to grab one more video. I'm going to grab the work stop due to the storm, and we're going to drag this in, and we just dragged that right onto Final Cut. Now I could have used the file and import as well, and I could have imported the media that way. But in this case, I just dragged in another piece. And so look, I'm just going to move this around the timeline. And so now there are the tanks that we liked. And suddenly here we are, and we've got people in gravel and orange shirts. And we've got this really long video clip as well. So number one, I'm going to pretend that we actually meant to do this. And what we're going to do, let's clip this right at the end. And we're going to do a couple of things with this one. So I'm just tossing that other one out of the ending there. And now we have the guys down on these concrete slabs, on these concrete panels, and we're just scrubbing through really quick. And we don't really care about this. It is blocking all of our other video though. If I hit the V key, up, there's those tanks again. So what can I do with this? Number one, we could clip this down and have it overlay on top of something. But the other thing we can do, I just hit the V key again. How about a picture in a picture? How do we feel about that? So what am I saying here? Well, let me show you. All right, right now it's covering what's going on underneath. But remember, above the timeline editor, we've got the transform and crop and all these things. I'm going to click on this and I want to transform this. So there's that video, and the whole video in the timeline is highlighted. And I got a couple little buttons here. And would you look at this? So I am just resizing this. I'm transforming this, and we could have something additional in here. So maybe we want a picture in a picture kind of effect. So now I'm moving this right on over here, and we'll cover that crane with it. There we go. We'll leave that right there. And now I'm going to say done. So now as we proceed through the video, we still have the really cool tank down here that we were wanting to show off, but maybe we wanted to show other work going on in the area as well. So that's where this little picture in a picture comes in. Now we could even get fancy. Maybe we want to see that crane behind it. Now I'm going to hit the blade key here. Hello, blade key. I'm going to select this one. And now that we're in here and selected, I'm going to go ahead and click on the transform again. Maybe we want to bring this picture in a picture down here now so that people can see the crane. So let's take a look at this really quick. We've got our tank out here in front of us. We've got our picture in a picture. So maybe some cool things are happening on the tank top. And in the meantime, the guys are getting things ready down here. And here we go. We're coming into where we split that. And now we move that picture in a picture down into the lower right-hand corner. Kind of cool, right? So we can overlay other items on top of other things in our timeline. Maybe we only wanted this up to here, and this part can be deleted. Oh, actually, that part's way more interesting, isn't it? So maybe we want to keep that part up there. So let's go ahead, and I think Let's go ahead and remove this one. Let's move this one over, and that's still in that lower corner. And maybe, oh, there we go. We're looking at that front area at two different scenes from the construction workers at two different times. Maybe I hit the blade key here. So this is one additional thing we can do now. We can do this with video, but we can also do this with still images as well. So what's pretty exciting is we could actually put some of our still images in, maybe overlay them on something, or maybe add them to the timeline as well. Now, this stuff being up above on the timeline, I could click and drag these down and have them replace some of these things below if we want to. We don't have to do that, but it's just, if we wanted to do that, we could. We can also stack additional things. So now that we've got this picture in a picture, maybe right up here, let's go back and let's go back to my entire titles menu here for a moment. I'm going to turn on all the titles and I can just scroll through. We've got all these different title types. Okay, maybe there's too many things in here, and we'll go with that simple one again. I always like to use the simple one because it really is pretty straightforward and gives you a good idea of what's happening. So I'm going to drag this onto the timeline as well. Look at this now. We're stacking the timeline up. I don't have a video camera on me right now, but if I did, you'd see me moving my hands around as we're stacking these things up. So now we have our little title here. Maybe we put that title right under the picture in a picture. Just delete that. There we go. Picture in a picture. And we'll say timeline editing. So there we go. Now we've got that. And the one thing, maybe we'd like it to match up with the edge of our picture in a picture. So if I go over to the T key, and so right now we're on the titles key here, and we can make the background width a little wider. Look at that. I've got that all lined up for the picture in a picture now. So now here we can come back again, and there's that picture in a picture showing up. And I'm just rewinding this a bit so that we can take a step back and take a look at this again. So now we've got that new picture in a picture, and it actually has a title that goes along with it. We could add more titles in here. So you can stack titles in here, or you could stack other videos in here as well. So maybe if there is a video of me talking to you as I'm doing this on camera, we could set that video down in here or move it wherever we like to. So very quickly, very easily, this is a higher end effect for us now, isn't it? Absolutely is. So you can start stacking even more titles if you want to. You can go crazy with the titles in here if you'd like to. Just letting people know each of the steps in the process, maybe giving some description about what is happening here on site. So, and maybe we want one or two additional videos in here, like this smaller picture in a picture, so that people can get the feel of what's happening around that job site. So now it's up to you to go forward and experiment with adding things to your timeline, moving things around in your timeline. See, if I click this and move it over here, let's go ahead and do that. And now that I've moved this over here, now we've got the picture in a picture in a different location. So we can move these around at will. Or let's stack this. Let's just go nuts. We're going nuts here. So first off, let's go ahead and have that first picture in a picture. Now it still exists and isn't going away, but now the second one pops up here. And I could move that one around as well. So if you want to display things happening on multiple parts of the same job site, you could actually do that very simply, very easily. And as you can also see, it's very easy to stack all of these different clips into our timeline. All right, with all that said, let's stop looking at this. I'm gonna remove this one. So we'll just keep one original one. Maybe we wanted that picture in a picture there. But what I'd like to do next here is actually pull up another folder. And in this folder, I have an audio file. So I'm gonna drag this audio file down, and the audio file actually goes in nicely right underneath our main timeline. So now we've got some audio in here. So if I play this, my microphone's probably going to pick it up. Let's see. All right, so that you heard that background music in there, and you can see I've got the entire background music area selected right now so that we can have this go through the entire song while we're doing our entire project. Now, as we can see over here, let's say the project ends right here at 1:30. We can go ahead and use the blade key, the blade tool, to actually crop our audio file. So now that we get to the end, whoa, that was way too loud. My apologies for that. But as we get to the end, we'll see that this is going to drop off right here. It also made a little placeholder for me there before. That's where the audio file was. So I just cleaned that up. Now, this sounds pretty loud, and maybe we want to tone it down. Let's zoom in here and look at our audio really quick. And you'll see as we're zoomed in, that here's where the audio is at. There's a little I button right there. If I click and drag this, it lowers the audio as it comes around, comes to the end here. So there it goes and faded right away for us. So the other thing, this sounded pretty loud. So the one other thing that I'm going to do in here, I can actually go to the audio bar and I'm going to click and drag this down a couple of decibels so it's not so darned loud. One of the things you're going to want to do if you're adding audio into your recordings, into your final video, is make sure that this isn't too loud. So headphones you're probably going to want to test on, and standard speakers as well. By the way, now that I have the audio track highlighted, let's go look up in the upper right area. You see our T is gone and our paragraph thing is gone because we're highlighted on an audio file. So it shows us the audio, and we can control the volume here. We can also do different types of equalization if we want to. We can also do automatic audio analysis of that file. So if I click on this, it does a little analyzing. Then it says that the audio analysis is complete, that it's loud enough, doesn't need to do anything else. But it did add some noise removal in here, which is interesting since I do have a lot of background noise in here. So it automatically said, hey, we need to get rid of some of that noise. But if we scroll back to the beginning here, so that's still a little loud for me. And what we can do is actually lower it right here in the timeline. So I just took it from -10 dB to -20. And there we go. Now it tracks right along for us very nicely. So we can swap audio in and out. So we could clip this just like we clip our video clips. And we could put other audio files in. We could put ambient background noises in. We could put voiceovers in like what I'm doing right now as well. So now at this point, we have a product, and I'm gonna turn off the audio so that we don't hear that too loud through my microphone. But now this is playing through for us. We're seeing what we've laid out so far. We're gonna see some of that new stuff like that new picture in a picture. We're gonna see some of our text blocks here. We're gonna see our iPhone block here as well. So extremely cool stuff. There is the arrow from one of our previous sessions. And it's still moving right along for us. It's about to transition again. And then that iPhone pops up for us as well. And in the meantime, we still have that audio that is playing in the background. That iPhone's going to go away. Here we are with our picture in a picture that we just made, and learn that we can stack things on top of each other to block things out, or to put smaller items that we've transformed in as well. So this has been a lot of learning in only 4 sessions, and I hope that this is giving you some ideas as to how you'd like to lay out your next project. So in the fifth and final part of our Final Cut intro, we're going to take a look at exporting this and getting it ready to go somewhere like YouTube or somewhere else as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about the export features and what we should be looking for when we're setting up those exports. After that, we're going to shift gears into DaVinci Resolve, and we're basically going to walk through this entire process that we did with Final Cut, but instead we're going to use DaVinci Resolve to do the same things. And as you'll see when we get into the DaVinci side, these video editing programs really are very, very similar. So if you start to understand one, you're probably going to be able to find your way around other ones as well. All right, everybody, hope you've enjoyed this one. We'll see you on the fifth one coming up in the really near future.